You're tuned in to the TVL Rundown, a comprehensive look at the athletics and athletes within the Twin Valley League. Joined by Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Spotlight, I'm Max Blaske with KNDY. The TVL Rundown is a service of the Citizens National Bank in Greenleaf and Bruna Implement.
Another reason to make the Citizens National Bank your bank. With the century of experience, you know you can count on us for convenient banking and personal service for people you know and trust. With extended hours and online banking for all your financial needs. Another reason to make the Citizens National Bank your bank.
For the best in farming equipment with the service to back it, there is only one Bruna Implement Company, your local Case IH dealer. Since 1947, the staff at Bruna Implement Company works daily to provide the best parts and service when you need it, always dedicated to their customers. Bruna Implement Company has been family-owned for 3 generations, and they know what it takes to be successful as your area Case IH dealer. With locations in Marysville, Washington, Clay Center, Seneca, Hiawatha, and Humboldt, Nebraska. Stop by or give them a call today.
Welcome into this week's edition of the TVL Rundown, joined as always with Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Sports Spotlight, getting into sectional round of football playoffs. Got a big docket of games here this week. Jeff, we're going to start on the top side of the 8-man Division II bracket, Frankfort and Axtell. Of course, Axtell coming off what Axtell does in a contest versus Rural Vista last Friday night, defeated them 46-0. And then Frankfort with a barn burner of a game, 84-74. If you haven't heard about the stats from that one, real quickly, Wes Anderson threw for over 250 yards, 6 touchdowns, also rushed for over $150 and added in 4 more scores. That was a heck of a game to just see the score sheet from, and congrats to Frankfort on coming out on top.
And I think you and I both were anxiously awaiting that stat sheet from the end of the night. We both had a loose total of what exactly both of these teams did, but wow. You have to give some credit to Porter Colvin. 4 of those catches went for touchdowns, and a team leading 117 yards. Colvin is a player that we don't talk nearly enough about because he has been a solid contributor to this Frankfort team, and he showed it again.
And I think Frankfort, I don't want to say finally finding their stride, but might be that game that gets those receivers in rhythm with what Wes Anderson wants to do on the football field, and you know, efficiency too as well. Anderson 24 for 29. We talked about the offensive totals. Obviously, Marmonton Valley's quarterback put up over 500 total yards too in that one. And I want to mention real quick, just looking at that score sheet, Frankfort was down 22-6 in that first quarter. Could have easily hung it up, but they went on to outscore Marmonton Valley in each of the final 4 quarters to that total. And I think it does have to resonate that when you play tough opponents, you know how to win tough games.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that's the reason that Frankfort is in the spot that they are. They've earned it. Just battle-tested each and every week, and it shows. And I think they have as good of a shot as any team that's playing on Friday night. But right now, if I were to tell you way back when that the peak of Frankfurt's season, the peak of what they are doing is happening in November, boy, opponents would have been very, very scared. And I think that's what's going on with Frankfort. We might see the best Wildcat team coming in to Friday night.
And every coach wants to be playing their best, and that seems the case. On the other sideline, obviously taking on state power Axtell. We talk about them every week. They're coming in the 4th straight 8-man Division II titles. But in that Rural Vista game, it was the defense that led the Eagles to the win. They held Rural Vista to just 13 yards passing, only 99 yards rushing, with 75 of those coming on 2 runs. And when you talk about Axtell, the been there, done that mentality, this will be a tough test for Frankfort. But like you said, Frankfort playing very good. That's going to be a heck of a game there Friday night over in Axtell.
And for Axtell, it's business as usual. It's just show up, dominate, and go home. When you get into that path as a team, you feel maybe not the confidence level being high, but just the self-respect level that Axtell, I think, has, and the respect for their opponents on Friday night. They're not going to lose focus. Neither of these teams are going to lose focus. And if they do, you may be in trouble. One of those teams blinks once, this could be a completely different game.
And, of course, two teams that know each other very well. The last 2 years meeting up in the sub-state round. They met earlier this season, playing twice a year. Really, really looking forward to that one. But the other game that we're going to talk about is the contest over in Hanover. Our game of the week on FM 95.5. It's the Hanover Wildcats and the Lynn Bulldogs coming into that contest. Going to start with Lynn real quick because I saw them. We both saw them last Friday versus Lebo. They completely dominated the Lebo Wolves in that one. Grayson Oldie over 100 yards on the ground, nearly 100 yards through the air. Dylan Oldie led the way defensively with 11 tackles. And I think, Jeff, from my perspective up in the booth, and like I said, you were there too as well, Lynn controlled that game from just about the opening kickoff until halftime, once they won 46-0.
They did. They came out and knew their plan from step one. And I think that's been the MO of Trevor Kuhlman's team. Know yourself, and the rest will fall into place. You keep those things straightforward and feel confident. Again, I use that word confident. You feel the confidence in yourself, and you are a much better team.
And on the other side of that sideline, the Hanover Wildcats, after a few down years, I'll use air quotes on that, it seems like the Wildcats are right back to where they need to be, undefeated going into that contest. And in a game versus Burlingame in which they won 64-8, offensive numbers might not pop, over 150 through the air and 111 on the ground, but they once again, I think, came out with a fire. They knew what they needed to do, and Matt Hoyer's team has his team probably playing the best of maybe any team in the state of Kansas right now.
That's the common bond between all four of these teams. There's not a whole lot of difference when you look at these four squads. I do agree with you. I think Hanover is playing their best ball right now, but it's remarkable that we have this opportunity, Max, to talk about four teams that are at the top of their game right now and have the opportunity. There are some weeks in the TVL we can say that team is probably going to win. You go into these two games, you couldn't get me to put a penny against any of these teams. I think it's just four remarkable teams, and I wish I could be in two places at one time on Friday night.
And I think we've talked about it obviously all season long too as well. 4 of the 8 remaining teams in Class 8-man Division II are from the Twin Valley League. Unfortunately, they have to get past each other to get through a state championship. But I'm going to go ahead and put my money down that out of any of these 4 teams that makes it through, you're looking at this year's state champion.
Max, you don't say. That's all I can say about that, because I've known this since week 4, week 5. I have the pleasure of getting to see all of these teams go, and there wasn't a doubt in my mind this year that one game in the TVL was going to decide, at least going, and probably going to win that state championship, and it's come to fruition.
Here we are at the end of the year, and I think the best 4 are remaining. Again, we'll have the Hanover-Lynn game on FM 95.5, and Jeff, I know you'll have updates from both games over on Facebook and the Spotlight. Again, where can everyone find them and the podcast you're putting out too?
As always, head over to the social media pages, TVL Spotlight, and at tvlspotlight.com. I will have updates on both of these games. I will be opposite your broadcast, Max, but I will be covering both of these games. I'll definitely have you in my ear and always in my heart, Max. It should be a fun week. Head to tvlspotlight.com for a new podcast coming out this afternoon.
Always keeping us informed and everything happening in the TVL. And last one, big congratulations. We want to give a shout out to Twin Valley All-League volleyball selections were announced. In first team selections, Caitlin Detweiler and Natalie Strothman of the Axel Eagles, Hayden Kramer, Milena Becker of the Centralia Panthers, Tessa Parthamer of the Frankfurt Wildcats, Drew Bruna and Gracie Bruna of Hanover, Gretchen Bott, Jenny Chirk of Lynn, Natalie Boswell of Onega, and then Ava Smith, Mia Vermitten, Paige Miller of the Valley Heights Mustangs. And Jeff, I mentioned it in last week's rundown, but a congratulations to all those volleyball teams that showed their dominance at state. Obviously, we know here in our area, but everyone now in the state knows that TVL is without a doubt the best league in Kansas.
It's been a fun month or so, hasn't it, Max? It's been some good times, and it's going to continue that. And yeah, I 100% agree. We are on a collision course now. Not to disparage what the fall sports teams are doing, but you know I love the TVL basketball tournament, and it's right around the corner, and I just literally got goosebumps thinking about it.
Like Jeff mentioned, basketball season will be here that first week of December, so be sure and tune in to everything at the TVL Spotlight and right here on the TVL Rundown. That'll close out this week's edition. Be sure and check out our full-length podcast over at kndyradio.com. Thank you for listening in, and we'll be back next week with the TVL Rundown. You've been tuned in to the TVL Rundown, a comprehensive look at the athletics and athletes within the Twin Valley League. Joined by Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Spotlight, I'm Max Blaske with KNDY. The TVL Rundown is a service of the Citizens National Bank in Greenleaf and Bruna Implement.